Speak No Evil is a 2024 horror thriller film starring James McAvoy, Mackenzie Davis, Scoot McNairy, and a few others. This is a remake of a Danish film, a 2022 film called Speak No Evil, which I watched. There's a lot of hype with the Danish film. I didn't like it because it's too realistic. The original film is very bleak and dreary and relentless, and it does invoke a certain mood. But this movie is obviously the American remake, and it was literally released, less than 2 years after the first one. So it goes to show how fast they fast-tracked the original. And the new one is about a family. They're kind of affluent. There's Ben and Louise. They are, sort of living in London, England, and they don't like it. And they have a daughter named Agnes, and they're on vacation in Italy. Having I think they're doing a group tour thing. I'm not sure, but they basically have to go back to this certain place and they can explore certain areas, but they meet another family. There's Patty and Kira and their son Ant, and the two of them hit it off and are invited back to the Western country where they have a farm. So after going back to London and dealing with everyday city life, the family decides to take up the offer of going over to this isolated farmhouse to spend time with this other family, get in touch with nature, eat some delicious local food, and just live rustic in this get some country air basically. And they don't know that the family they're staying with are probably more malicious than they think. So this film is a lot different from the original. It's written and directed by James Watkins, and I've actually seen all of his films. He's noticeable for doing Eden Lake, a really strong evil kids movie. That one had Kelly Riley and Michael Fassbender, and they're way bigger now as action stars. And then he also did The Woman in Black with Daniel Radcliffe, which is a pretty good solid chiller. And an action thriller called Bastille Day with Idris Elba. He did those three films, so he's quite versed in simple thriller, simple action thriller, and also horror. So this is a horror thriller of sorts. And honestly, it really did capture the sort of uncomfortable nature of the original film. The film is about manners. How far will you allow people to sort of go? Will you speak up? A lot of people are different. They don't always speak up when someone's being rude, or you don't want to be rude, or you don't want to be embarrassed. So sometimes you'll even allow yourself to be, violated or have someone do something to you because you're too afraid to speak up because you could be mistaken. So the original film is definitely different, and the new one is definitely Americanized for sure. The bulk of the film's a slow burn. The family that they're staying with gets a little bit more and more unhinged as they stay along. And then, of course, we get to the inevitable conclusion where they ratchet up the tension into a huge, vicious fight for survival. It's in the trailer. But honestly, the new movie is pretty solid. I really liked it. I think the entire movie is pretty much carried by the adult actors. All of them. James McAvoy is very unhinged, but he's not too unhinged. And he's got like this weird sort of influence that he's taken from real life people. And then of course there's also Scoot McNairy, who's always an underrated actor. He's really good in this because he's sort of just he's a realistic civilian man. He's not like some super tough guy. So throughout the film he does not rise to the occasion actually. And then Mackenzie Davis is also really good too. Very understated role. She's like a bundle of nerves and anxiety, and she doesn't want to go up against her daughter or husband in this weird situation too. And it's a pretty effective thriller, really good thrills and suspense, and it pretty much puts all of its eggs into one basket. The only problem I had was the crowd that I saw this with was awful. Worst crowd you could physically get in a horror thriller film. Even in line at the soda machine, this woman was freaking out at me for not going fast enough. There was this old couple of guys behind me. They were just kept asking each other questions about stuff that happened in the movie. It's like they have never been to a movie before, or it happened like right on the screen. He's like, wait, what did he do? Like, huh? And then he's like, shh, and he's like, are you awake? Just really bad crowd. And there's some people to the left of me that kept talking and laughing. Maybe they were high. But other than that, though, it didn't dampen my enthusiasm for this film. It is a really good pot boiler. It really felt myself getting a lot of sweaty palms near the end for sure. And it's simple and effective, and definitely an improvement on the original. It also is not as bleak as the original, but you can definitely check out that film too. So I give the Speak No Evil American remake a 7 out of 10.